All right, some of the sentiments there in the National Super Alliance campaigns in Meru and Tharaka-Nithi. So much was said, and it looks like the opposition is trying to make inroads into this area that is well perceived to be a Jubilee stronghold. Let's now speak to political analyst Analyst-Danson Omari on this latest developments of NASA. He's joining us live from our City Center studios. Thank you very much for joining us, Analyst-Danson. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Would it be a success for NASA? Could they call these particular rallies they've been holding in Meru and Tharaka-Nithi as a success?
What is happening is that the country is having a lot of anger. The Merus and the Tharaka regions are completely disillusioned with the Jubilee government, especially on key issues that the promises of the Jubilee manifesto was to address is unemployment. Are the Meru, the larger Meru people's youth having jobs? They're not having their jobs. Two, another issue is about the Mira issue. The Mira ban that affected the economy of the Merus and brought the Merus down to grass has not been addressed adequately by the Jubilee regime. Remember, the Jubilee government set aside 1 billion shillings that cannot be able to resolve the dispute because the dispute is a diplomatic problem. The Jubilee government was supposed to engage diplomatically with Britain and other countries to allow Mira to continue moving to that place. So therefore, instead of the Jubilee addressing that reason, that problem adequately, they failed to address that issue. Third, when you look at the number of the youths within that region, the youths have not benefited in anything from this government. Fourthly, when you look at the infrastructure development in Meru region is not any better than it was when Kibaki was in government. Lastly, when you look at what NASA is telling the Merus is that you are told that we are tuko pamoja only during elections time. When it comes to allocation of resources, then we are not together. So the NASA brigade is appealing to the Meru nation that in our own government, when we form government, if you people give us power, we will take into consideration your aspirations during the formation of government, during the formation of appointment of government, because the question is, they are being told, wengine wanakula nyama. What does the Meru eat? Do the Merus share in the eating of the nyama, or they share in hunting of the gazelle that generates that nyama? And that is why you have seen a tremendous good following, popular people coming to support Raila Odinga in his rallies.
Well, Dunstan, this is the second official rally by NASA after they signed it into a coalition and they signed the agreements, all the 4 core principles. The first rally, they held it in Eldoret, another one perceived to be a Jubilee stronghold. The second one was in Meru. They look there like they're trying to invade the Jubilee strongholds as opposed to going back to the people they know are supporting them already. So do they look like they're getting their homework right this time round?
I don't believe there are any strongholds in these elections of 2017. The strongholds have died because there seems to be 2 tribes coming up. The strongholds of 2013 were based on ethnic tribes. The strongholds of 2017 are based on economic, the question of the economy. Kenyans are asking the question, do we go with a tribe of the 43 tribes, including the Makonde, or do we look at a tribe called the economy, where my son, my daughter is likely to get a job, where my cousin is supposed to get treatment in hospital, where my relatives will be able to travel on the road without a lot of problems. So there seems to be a lot of resentment based on the performance of the economy, based on the performance of governance, based on the performance of corruption allegations against Jubilee. So there is a new tribe called people who want this country to be run properly. And those are the very many people who appeared in Eldoret, and those are the very many people who appeared in Meru. But, my good sister, let me tell you, are we sure that the people we are seeing in those rallies are really Raila people, or they are NSI's followers, they are security people, they are people who have been brought by Jubilee to give Raila hope and false confidence that he has the following. That we need to know, to interrogate further, to know whether those are people who have been stage managed to appear in Eldoret and in the Meru region.
So what are we saying? Is it going to be a tougher election than what we have witnessed in the previous years? We have an incumbent who has a lot of things, is dealing with corruption allegations, the economy currently, we are having a very high rate of inflation, but we also have an opposition that is trying to put itself or its house in order. Is it going to be a tougher race than what we've seen in the previous elections?
This election is going to be a very vicious election because when you look at it globally, every establishment, every incumbent has lost. And therefore, Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto are aware that they might not survive. In Tanzania, you go across in Somalia, you go to Nigeria, you go to Gambia, you go to Ghana, you go to the US. Incumbents have lost. Reason being that people are now asking, people are looking inward. Why is our country doing poorly? It's because of corruption. Why is our hospital not funded? Why are the lecturers on strike? Why are the doctors not being paid? So people have moved away from that old concept that we are Merus and therefore we must support one of our own. We are Luos, therefore we must support one of our own. It is now a trend globally that people are voting against establishment. Therefore, Jubilee's chances of regaining power are completely becoming narrower and narrower. But as I've said, you cannot totally disregard the incumbency. He can use state resources. But the question is, the courts have also become very, very categorical that they want a fair, credible, and good election. The IEBC in place this time, remember, rigging is not a strategy for the 2017 election. If rigging will not be a strategy in the 2017 elections, the incumbents are likely to see the exit and they might serve a one-term presidency.
Dunstan, thank you very much for speaking with us. Political analyst Dunstan Omari there, joining us from our city center studios. It is definitely a political year, and we're going to have a lot of that here on News Desk.